Ooh, let's go, people. It's Friday morning. It's Blue Friday, and we're about 28 and a half hours away from kickoff in a place that a vast majority of people didn't think we were going to be. The playoffs. Even as recently as a week ago, people didn't think we had a great chance at making the playoffs. And certainly 4 months ago, most people didn't think we had much of a chance at the playoffs. So every step of the way, it's been tough. It's been an uphill battle, but we're here. Yeah, we're only here because the NFL foolishly decided to expand the playoffs to 7 teams per. But right now, I'm not unhappy about it. Because bottom line is, this is a team that even if tomorrow goes terribly, even if it goes terribly tomorrow, it benefits from having a playoff game. This is not like last year. Last year's team, when you had veterans who had gone so much further than just, the wild card round of the playoffs, you had guys like Russell Wilson who had won a Super Bowl. You had guys like Bobby Wagner who had won a Super Bowl. Your team was made up of veterans. You had Dwayne Brown, Brandon Shell at tackle. You had all these older guys, all these guys that you had seen before. There was very, very minimal rookie presence on that team last season. That team, if they had backed into the playoffs with like a 9-8 record and gotten demolished in their first playoff game, that doesn't do anything for me. I can tell you that right now. Like, if that had happened, that does nothing for me. To me, that's just putting a Band-Aid on the wound. To me, that's just delaying what needs to happen. And yeah, I would have said that was pointless. That was a waste of time. This team that has so many players that have never played in the playoffs before, veterans who have never experienced this before, that has so many rookies starting and contributing. Kenneth Walker, Charles Cross, Abe Lucas, Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant. Just so many guys who have never had an opportunity like this before. A team that is clearly young and still working towards their peak. Yeah, you better believe the playoffs are important. And whatever happens tomorrow, even if it ends up being some ugly, ugly game where the team doesn't give you that much, and we end up a fly on the windshield of the 49ers, I can tell you this, I'm thrilled to be here. But now we have to talk about how can we prevent that from happening? How can we find a way to win? So the main theme, I think, of this game is to embrace the chaos. I made a video a couple days ago talking about how, it's going to be raining. It's going to be a rainstorm in Santa Clara for this game. A lot of rain, some wind, ugly conditions. It's a crap field. You guys know. You guys know how it is. And obviously, I think that in theory, those conditions favor the Niners. Geno Smith has already proven that he doesn't play as well in the rain. We saw it last week against the Rams. He had maybe his worst game of the year, and it was raining more than we had experienced all season long. So you've also got the running game, where the Niners have one of the best rushing games in the league. Our rushing game's pretty good, but they run the ball better, and you better believe this is likely going to become a battle of who can run the ball better. However, there's another element, too, that I do want to mention here. Other people have pointed this out, and I do think it's a very good point. The rain should increase the chaos. Weird things can happen. Players slip. Players fall down. Players that never drop the ball suddenly drop the ball. You've got fumbles. You've got all kinds of weird stuff that happens because it's raining so hard. You might have a situation where that ends up counting for more than, they can run the ball better than you and you have a quarterback who doesn't play very well in the rain. Like, what if this game starts and San Fran just fumbles the ball without, maybe not even, they don't even get hit, but they just fumble the ball because the ball's wet on their first 2 drives and we get the ball. Wow. Okay, suddenly we're up something like 10-0. And then San Fran's got this rookie quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, who's never really had any pressure on him at all because of the way San Fran does things. And suddenly, he has to go, oh no, I got to go make some plays now. It's raining. My little noodle arm can barely get the ball 12 yards down the field. And it's like, good luck figuring that one out, San Fran. Good luck putting up points. Good luck playing from behind in this circumstance. So embrace the chaos. Let weird things happen. Let Brock Purdy throw a wide open, plain as day, super normal slant, 8-yard slant over the middle to Debo, and then Debo just slips and falls and the ball goes right to Quandre Diggs. Let stuff like that happen, because we're going to need some chaos. At the end of the day, we are big underdogs in this game, and there's a reason for that. San Fran is better than us. They have a better roster. They have better coaching. They have more talent. They've got a better team. They just do. And that was proven out in the regular season when they handled us twice and won 4 more games than we did. And they've won 10 games in a row going into this game. They're a better team. So if you want to win, a big way you can win is embrace the chaos. So that's going to be the main thing I kind of push going forward here. If you can do that, you've got a chance. Let their defensive backs be the ones who fall down on that turf. Let their defensive backs be the one who misplay the ball because it's raining so hard they can't see it. A little bit of chaos could go a long way. And that is probably our best path forward. Now, there's another thing, too. San Fran beat us twice this year. Many people have said it, and it is partially true. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. In fact, in the history of the NFL, I believe when 2 division rivals play in the postseason and one team won the first 2 games, the team that lost the first 2 games wins that game 9 out of 22 times, almost half. The record is 9-13 or something, or 8-12, something in that area where it's it's unlikely, but it happens at a pretty high clip. You cannot dismiss it. So there's that going on there too. And there are reasons why it's hard to beat a team 3 times. You give a coaching staff the opportunity to look at a team 3 times, really look at what went wrong in those first 2 games, and try to find the weakness, find the advantage you can push, find something you can do that will take them by surprise because they're probably feeling pretty good about themselves going into this game. Then you might just have something. And I've seen it a couple times. I saw it with the Giants beating the Cowboys in 2007. That's probably my most memorable example. The Giants just found a pass rush and were able to hound Tony Romo in pretty much the entire second half and get that win after the Cowboys had handled them twice already that season. You've got examples like the Vikings over the Packers. And that was an example of a game where Brett Favre just lost his mind and started throwing interceptions all over the place. So there are multiple ways that it happens, but it is a thing. And speaking of throwing 4 interceptions in a game, we are playing Brock Purdy, and his little noodle arm is not going to be good for these conditions. So maybe you catch him on that day where it's just not working, and he gives you a bunch of turnovers. If we want to win this game, we probably need a bunch of turnovers. We didn't get any turnovers in the first 2 games other than the blocked field goal by Tariq Woolen. Honestly, you look at those 2 games, you didn't make any plays on defense. You got practically no QB pressure, and you got no turnovers except for the blocked field goal. So, chaos. Chaos and playing a team for the 3rd time after they whooped you the first 2. That is the main thing that I'm really thinking about going into this game. Those 2 elements. Now, if you take a look at the matchups, actually try to break this down in terms of X's and O's, it's tough. It is. The Niners, on offense, have one of the best rushing attacks in the league. Christian McCaffrey has had a monster bounce-back year, becoming one of the best running backs in the league again. That's going to be hard to deal with. We don't deal with outside zone runs very well. Honestly, lately, ever since Brooks went to, well, really, we're talking about one game here, Cam Akers kind of did what he wanted to up the gut against us for a lot of that Rams game. So the Niners, they're going to be running at you outside. They're going to be running at you inside. They're going to come at you every which way. And at this moment, I don't have a ton of confidence in our ability to stop the run. And you can bet they're going to be leaning on that heavily from the moment the game starts. They're not going to go out there thinking, okay, we're going to take Seattle off guard by throwing the ball over and over and over again. We're going to let Brock Purdy throw the ball 45 times. That's not going to happen. Even under normal conditions, it may not happen. And I really don't think it's going to happen in the rain. Now, the good news is Brock Purdy's probably not going to be able to push the ball at all. Not in these conditions. Not even under normal conditions can he really push it. So you've got the opportunity to put Ryan Neal in the box, have him be the 8th man up there, and just let Quandre Diggs cover the deep stuff. Just have one guy back there and hope that Brock Purdy doesn't make you pay. I don't think he can. I don't think he will. So you're going to have the opportunity to at least have an extra man up there, not having to worry about getting beat over the top. So we can at least say we've got that going for us. That should help against the run. Ryan Neal's been a very effective run defender this year. Having him back is good. But I do wonder, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is this a game where we end up missing Jordan Brooks? We wish we had him in the middle to plug the run. That's possible. That's very possible. So hopefully Tanner Muse and Cody Barton, their speed ends up working out in our favor here. It allows them to get to the edge and stop the outside runs. But San Fran, being the well-coached team that they are, they might be smart enough to just say, okay, we're going to pound the ball up the middle against your undersized linebackers and pretty bad defensive line. That's possible too. In that case, you're betting a lot on Ryan Neal. So you do the X's and O's, and you can kind of sort of see where, like, okay, let's put a lot of pressure on Purdy. Let's blitz Purdy. Let's get the Kobe Bryant blitz going. Let's get the Ryan Neal blitz going. Let's get the Tanner Muse and Cody Barton blitzes going. Let's get Abram on the field a little bit and have him blitz. And let's just put 8 men in the box, maybe even 9 men in the box sometimes. And it's like, okay, it makes sense in theory, but you are going to need that chaos that I was talking about to make it matter. And that Niners defense, I mean, in a game like this, I don't know where to start, right? Like, okay, they've got that defensive line. You're talking about Bosa and Armstead off the edges against rookie tackles, bad conditions. You're talking about, guys with talent like Javon Kinlaw, and they're getting Kevin Givens back this week as well in the middle. It's the second best run defense in the league this year, I believe. I think it's number 2. And you're like, okay, we're definitely going to have to run the ball. But how? We got Fred Warner there too. You've got Dre Greenlaw. He's back this week. Pretty much everyone's back this week for the Niners except for the IR guys, by the way. It's been pretty much confirmed. It's like, how are we going to run the ball? Because I know we're not going to be able to throw the ball as much as we'd like to. Not in these conditions. If you let Geno go back and throw it 45 times, you're going to be very disappointed with the results, I think. The ball's going to come out uneven. The ball's going to come out weird. He's not going to be able to push it the way he wants to. And you're going to end up with probably a lot of turnovers. Now, on that note, I will say this. There's, I think, a big push to judge Geno Smith off what happens tomorrow in about 28 and a half hours. I'm not going to be judging Geno Smith on tomorrow. I'm just not. I know that sounds like I'm setting yourself up for failure, but there's no way. I'm not going to do it. There's just no chance I'm going to look at this game and go, okay, you're playing the best defense in the league that is healthy outside of their cornerbacks. You're playing in terrible conditions. You're missing your number 3 receiver. You're missing your number 2 tight end. Your offensive line interior is pretty lackluster. I'm not going to judge Geno Smith on this game. The Niners defense is probably the best in the league by far, by the way. It might not even be close at this point. You're playing a defensive coordinator that is trying to make his final push for a head coaching job too, by the way. So much is on the line here. You know they're going to come at it with everything they have. So I'm going to tell you this right now. If Geno Smith tomorrow throws the ball like 9 times and then just hands the ball off the whole rest of the game, I think that's a reasonable game plan, and I'm not against it, and I'm not going to judge him on it. Like, this is an extreme situation here. I'm going to just put that out there right now, and if he balls out, if Geno Smith balls out tomorrow, then, give him his flowers, because there aren't that many quarterbacks that are going to be able to handle this rainstorm. But that being said, how do you run the ball against this front? How do you run the ball against these Niners? Even if the conditions were good, honestly, how do you pass against them? Like, it's so hard to find the weakness here. They had 2 big injuries at cornerback this year, and they're still really good there with the Ward and, I can't remember the name of the other guy off the top of my head, but they lost Mosley and Verrett, and they're still really good out there. They've got the other Ward at safety. They've got Hufanga at safety. It's like you go down the line of this defense, and it's just stacked. It's just over the top stacked. And it's just really hard to figure out where you penetrate, where you make something good happen. I'm going to say it. It's going to need chaos. You're going to need defenders to fall down because of the field. You're going to need defenders to slip and slide around there on the crappy field of jeans. You're going to need weird stuff to happen. You're going to need them to miss a bunch of tackles because of the conditions. And it can easily rubber band in on you. Now, I'm fine with the potential rubber band of maybe we're the team that suffers in the conditions because we're such big underdogs anyway. But I'm aware of that distinct possibility. So, like I said, avoid turnovers, force turnovers. Be ready to punt the ball a lot. It's fine. Play field position. And try to get out there with a low-scoring win. If I had to make a prediction right now, I would say something like 49ers 17, Seahawks 13. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be a good game. I think we're going to learn some important things about these younger players. They're going to get important experience. And I think we'll be competitive. But it's just hard to see the way to the win. I can easily see the way to making this a really good game. I think the conditions on some level do kind of even things out. And that's cool. I like that. Obviously, that's awesome. But is it enough to win the game when at the end of the day they are better equipped X's and O's wise to handle the conditions? I don't think so. I just think it'll be enough to make sure they can't put up like 40 points on you. That's probably not going to happen. It would be really hard for it to happen just because it's a rainstorm and you have a quarterback that can't push the ball. Just please be smart enough to play close to the line of scrimmage. Be smart enough to bolster up against the run. Be smart enough to not make the game all about Geno Smith trying to make big throws down the field in these conditions. And I believe there will be an opportunity to win this game. You may not win it, but I believe there will be an opportunity to win this game. But I'm going to say 17-13 Niners. Going to be fun. Going to be intriguing. There's very little that can happen tomorrow that will make me upset, right? Like, of course, when you lose a playoff game, you have a base level of upsetness. You just have to. But I don't believe I'm going to sit here and be really, really angry that we lost this game no matter what. I just don't. All right, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Probably going to do a pregame stream tonight. Hope to see you there. And, hey, 28 and a half hours away.